Welcome back, everybody. We got another pressure tutorial for you. Today we're going to turn the Optimus Prime so we can transform. So you see my man's, he came in looking real crazy. Sometimes we get clients like this, so we got to take the steps in order to get them back right. So first things first, you want to pick everything out. Get everything picked out to that length, and then I'm going to cut everything down with these arch shears. And guys, when you're doing a transformation, if somebody walks in the shop looking all crazy, all you got to do is take a couple pre-steps to get back to where you can do a regular haircut. Meaning you don't really have to switch your process up. You just got to do a couple extra steps to get to where your process usually starts. So for example, my extra steps here is I pick them out, cut them down with my arch shears. Now I'm picking it out again. And now after I pick them all the way out, I'm going to go ahead and cut his hair down to an 8 against the grain. So basically what I'm doing is just prepping his hair so it doesn't look all crazy and it just looks like a normal head that hasn't had a haircut. That way I can just do my normal steps that I always do. So a transformation, the hardest part about the transformation is just getting back to where you can do your steps. And that's all you guys got to do to start a transformation. Now, as you can see, his hair was growing in all types of ways. So I'm just cutting in any way these clippers can cut just to get him down to an even length all the way around the whole head. So I was cutting backwards, I'm cutting forward, I'm cutting up, down, sideways, whatever way I could do, I'm cutting. And then I'm going to pick it all out one more time just to make sure everything's ready to, to start my fading process. Now I'm taking my big comb, I'm combing everything down just to get the hair laying down in the direction I want. Now I'm going to start my bald line. I'm starting my first guideline. I'm making a bald line. He said he wants a drop fade, so I'm dropping it in the back a little bit. And I'm not really digging in hard here. I just make the indent, and then I'm going to come up and really make my bald line. Because when you come up and make the bald line, it makes that bald line easier to come out rather than if you're pressing down really hard like you were doing a shape up. So I always come up to create my first bald line. Again, pressing down lightly in the back and then scooping out, scooping up to make the bald line. Constantly combing everything down, make sure everything's straight. Now this is my system here. 3, 2, 1.5, 1. All a fade is a higher length of hair going to a lower length of hair. So that's the guards I'm going to be using. So I'm starting with my 3 completely open, and I'm coming with the grain. I'm just trying to lay everything down. When you come with the grain, it kind of helps you debulk. Like I'm kind of skimming at that top where that bush is, and then starting to dig in once I get towards the bottom. Again, this is all with the 3 guard open. Now I'm closing it up, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, but I'm consciously staying lower than when I did with the 3 open. So I don't want to go higher than what I did with the 3 open. I'm just constantly coming lower. As you can see, I'm going sideways. I'm going with the grain, against the grain. His grain was kind of all over the place, so I'm just doing whatever I can do just to cut this hair down and lay it down. Kind of get my foundation ready to fade against the grain. So now I'm going with the 2 guard completely open, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm coming with the grain, a little bit against the grain, and now I'm closing it up, doing the same thing. And each time I close it up, I stay lower than the last time I did it with the last guard. So I started up higher with the 3. Now I'm staying low with the 2. Now you can see I'm coming against the grain a little bit in the back there because it wasn't cutting the same as it was on the side. Like I said, this client's hair was all over the place, so at some point you just gotta try to make it work. Now this is my 1.5 completely open, and again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm coming with the grain, just kind of smoothing everything out. So I just went from a higher guard to a lower guard with the grain just to, give me some foundation of what I'm working with here and trying to kind of clean up all that messiness and make it something I can work with. So now I'm coming 1.5 open against the grain now, and now I'm kind of starting my fading process. And now I got my foundation ready to start my fade. So that's how we're looking, a gradual blend. So now we're going to come in and make our first guideline. We're coming up with our Andes Masters, about a 1/2 inch. We're coming up with it completely open, and we're flicking out at the top. Remember guys, I always flick out my guidelines so they're easier to fade. I don't dig in when I'm making guidelines. You're going to flick out, so then it's easy to take them guidelines out. So making sure everything's at this length, combing everything down, trying to get that hair to lay down because it was crazy. Now I'm closing my clippers to almost all the way. I'm at the last dot before fully closed. And I'm just flicking out using my corners, stretching the skin, trying to fade that bottom line out. And then, you know, after this, I'll go ahead and close the lever up or open it up accordingly. And just using lever play. Y'all know I teach lever play. The more you open your clipper, the less hair you cut. The more you close it, the more you cut. So if I want to get a bottom line out, I'll close it all the way, like so. And stretch the skin, kind of dig that line out. And if I need to come up, I'll open the clippers up. So, you know, learn your lever system, and that's how you learn how to fade the pressure way. So now I'm just doing some detail work, lever play, making sure that line's faded out. Now I'm coming with my 1.5 completely open, and I'm flicking up, flicking into this, and I'm kind of making it another 1/2 inch. And, you know, constantly combing. Went it with the grain a little bit again, just to smooth everything out. Like I said, you guys saw how crazy this guy came in, so this fade process might be a little unorthodox, a little not by the system, but it's still the same steps. Just a couple extra steps. Still the same pressure system. You know, I'm coming up with the grain, against the grain, 1.5. Now I close the 1.5 up, and I'm flicking out right now. Stretching the skin, trying to make sure I don't come higher than when I did when it was open. You know, you always got to stay lower than what you just put in. I'm coming with the grain, smoothing some stuff out. You know what I mean? Just gradually working at this fade here. But I'm still doing my same steps. Now I'm coming with my 1 guard completely open. And again, I'm flicking at that bottom line. And as you can see, it's kind of gradually coming out. And I'm not going up past where I was with the 1.5. So I'm doing the same steps I always do. It just took a couple extra steps at the beginning to lay that foundation down to get me where I can do my regular steps. And then I'm not going to switch my process up. I'm still going to do my same fade because that's how I fade. So right now I'm going 1 open, flicking at that line still, combing everything down. And eventually I'm going to close it up, start using my corners. There we go. Coming with the grain just to smooth it down again. And then I'm going to flick at that line. As you can see, the blend's coming together. We got a little bulk to deal with, but don't worry, we're going to do that. Now I'm coming back with my Andes Masters, and I'm just doing some detail work. I see it was a little bit bulky, a little bit dark in the back there, so I'm kind of trying to clean that up. Doing some detail work, you know. Same thing as always. Kind of fading this area out, and I left that area dark, so when I do the shape up, it's very prominent and there, because like I said, this guy's hair was everywhere, so I always leave the hairline dark, and then once I do the shape up, I can come back and fade around the shape up, so I can ensure the shape up is there and it's popping out, because y'all know that's my specialty. That's the pressure. So I need that shape up to be pressure. And again, on this side, I'm doing the same steps, guys. But like I said, if you guys are having trouble with transformations or people coming in crazy, all you got to do, you still never change your steps up. Once you find your system and your system works for you, how you fade and how you cut hair, if somebody comes in looking crazy, just take a couple extra steps to get the haircut to where you can do your regular steps. You know what I'm saying? Don't change your whole process just because somebody come in looking crazy. No, you just got to get the hair to where you can do your same process. You know what I mean? Once you find your system, I always preach this. You got to find your system, what works for you. And then you got to do that system every time. You don't change up for nobody. Because, you know, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. And this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing the same things I always do. I'm fading down, using detail work, going with the grain against the grain. And, you know, this fade comes out nicely. Now, I still got to debulk here. So I'm doing the same steps on this side. And then we're going to debulk that top of the bush. And we're going to get busy. So now how I debulked, I just put a 5 guard on and closed the lever all the way. And I just went with the grain, and it kind of just smoothed everything down from that bushiness. It just cut that bushiness down a little bit to blend into the rest of the fade. That's all I had to do. Now I'm coming with what I believe was a 1.5, and I'm hitting that hairline because it's like I said, you see how his grain is. It's kind of growing everywhere. So I was kind of winging it here, but still doing the same process. You get what I'm saying? Now I'm spraying with the holding spray, getting everything together. I'm going to cut the mustache down with my Andes completely open, making sure everything's smoothed out. This leaves the mustache dark, but still at the lightest it can be when you go with the grain Andes completely open. And I'm hitting the top of the lip, keeping that lip line, pointing it at the angle. Then I'm coming from the top and pushing down to the bottom to shape that mustache up. Same thing on each side. Everything's about symmetrical. Now I'm planting in the middle and I'm going to the left. And every time I go left, you can notice that I'm coming back to the right side. So I use the middle of the head as like a guideline for my shape up. I start in the middle and then I go left. And every time I go a little bit to the left, I come back to the right to ensure everything's connected and everything's straight. Now I'm coming to my sidebar, and as you can see, I'm angling my sidebar forward. I angle the sidebar forward. This is just how I do my sidebars. This is my style. And you always want to over comb. You want to comb over the hairline and then hit it again to make sure everything's sharp and everything where it needs to be. Now I'm coming straight in at the C cup. I go in straight. Then when I get to the curve, I hit the swerve. That's all you gotta do, guys. You come in with the straight, you use half your trimmer. You come in, make the first indent, and then once you get to the curve, you just hit that swerve. You'll be good. You gotta use your corner, hit the swerve. Get to the curve, hit the swerve. Now I'm using my Andes Masters, and I'm gonna go ahead and fade that hairline in like I was talking about earlier. Using lever play. You know what I mean? Open it up, close it up, make sure everything is faded nicely to where the hairline is still shown and it's still prominent, but it doesn't look out of place like it's just popping out from nowhere. And now I'm going to go ahead and reshape that C cup up one more time just to make sure it's there, because I just faded the rest of it in. So I want to make sure it's still pressure. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Again, angling my sidebar forward, combing over the hairline, hitting the hairline again. Coming in, when I get to the curve, I hit the swerve. And guys, like I said, it's that simple, man. I'm doing my same steps that I always do. I just took a couple little extra steps to get me there first, to get me ready to do my steps. So you don't necessarily have to change your whole process, but you might just have to add a couple steps to your process. And again, I faded the hairline area and then I re-hit it. And that's how we're looking with no enhancements. Now I'm going to come in with some no drip. I'm just going to fill these lines in. Make them a little dark, give them that pop out look, give them that pressure look. You know what I mean? Hitting my sidebar. And as you can see, the card is directly on the hairline and my gun is constantly moving. This is going to give you a nice even distribution of spray. See how my hand is constantly moving with the gun in my hand? Now I'm coming with my fibers, and notice how my card placement is now off of the hairline, because I want the fibers to be sprayed excess of the hairline. Like I want them to be over the hairline. So when I go shape up the fibers, it gives it that super sharp look. And this is my best way that I do enhancements to make everything look realistic. Because also the no drip spray, it leaves like a little shine. So it looks like kind of unrealistic. But when you add the fibers to it, the fibers kind of cover up the shine. And then, you know, you reshape it up and everything's straight. Put some holding spray on there. Lock everything in. Now I'm putting some water in my client's hair, because as y'all saw, his hair texture and his whatever was going on was very crazy. So I put some water and some curling cream in there. And I'm just trying to curl his hair up. I'm also going to use the curl racket and just curl his hair up just to give him a style. You know what I mean? I always give my clients a style. And now I'm hitting I lay his head back, stretching the skin, hitting him with this straight razor, holding my razor at a 45-degree angle. I'm hitting the C cup, hitting the sideburn. And this is bringing everything together, man. This is the pressure right here. Hitting the front of the hairline, stretching the skin. Guys, you want to make sure you stretch the skin all the way. You see how that stretches? Look at where I'm stretching. You got to stretch that skin all the way. Get a good stretch, and that's the best way to use that razor. You got to get a good stretch. As barbers, we're going to have clients that come in looking all crazy, but it's our job to put that pressure on their head. So just get the hair where you need it to be and then stick to your system. Don't switch up for nobody. Because as you can see, my man's came in mad and he came in sad, but he definitely left in his bag. Y'all know what's going on, man. Pressure bips, nothing but pressure. Man, y'all see, I transformed this man, gave him a whole new hair texture. His hair was, I don't even know. Now he got curly hair. You know what I mean? This is what we do, just the pressure way. Stick to your system. Make a couple extra steps. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Pressure bips in the comments. Like and subscribe, lock in.